Hello and welcome to our back to school video for the upcoming school year. My name is Krivak and you are welcome to today's video about English 10. And so I'm going to go through a little bit about myself and my co-teacher, Mrs. McCummins, and then we'll talk about what happens in our classroom. So a little bit about me and just some personal stuff. My name is Gifford Krivak. I've been teaching English 9 and English 10 at Langley High School since 2008. I also coach the cross country and speech and debate teams at Langley. And then this is a slide of some of my activities outside of the classroom. I'm originally from New York, proud New York sports fan, graduate of Marist College in Poughkeepsie, New York, and George Mason here in Virginia. And outside of school, I enjoy exercising, riding my bike, and I do a little bit of wildlife photography. My co-teacher this year is Mrs. McCummins, and this is a picture of her and some things with her family and her family dog as well. Let's talk about tonight's agenda. And I'm gonna go over the major aspects of our class and the expectations of your students, and so you can learn a few things and about our class and be on top of things with your kids. All right. So our curriculum goals: English 10 is part of a 4-year study of English, and the students will take the SOL in their junior year, not this year in English 10, but they will take it in English 11 next year. And it is a skills-based test, unlike the history test, which is a knowledge-based test. So the skills we are learning this year are things that will help them in all of next year, in the entire English class, but especially on the SOL for next year. Okay, so topic of study, we're going to talk about vocabulary, different forms of writing, public speaking. The grammar that we do uses the program No Red Ink, and we do a lot of literature analysis, media criticism, and lastly, we're going to do a bit more this year of reading for pleasure, where the students will have to select books and then do assignments based on those. So our typical daily agenda, the students will maybe get some vocabulary words. They will do a journal, which now we call quick writes, as they do it on the computer now. We used to do it in old school books, but old school composition books, but now we do them on the computer with No Red Ink. And we do quite a bit of grammar practice. We have major units of literature, and always there is some guided instruction within every class. So we begin most of our units with vocabulary, and we give the students the new vocabulary words that come directly from the text that we are reading, and they are introduced to the students, and we do some different activities with them, and then there is a vocabulary quiz along with each major unit, again covering the words from that book. In most classes, there is a time for the students to write, and we do a lot of writing through the No Red Ink program, and we use things called the quick writes, which are little 10 to 15 minute writing spurts where the students write paragraphs that are supposed to be rough drafts and not expected to be polished papers, and we do quite a bit of these. We do one almost every day. And eventually, some of those writings will become larger pieces of work, maybe essays or more expository pieces. But we do many of these, and they get a couple of points for each one, usually 2 points for each one. So a lot of little grades based on this. But of course, if the students do them and do them well, that will help out their grades. And if they don't do them, it can have a negative impact on their grades. So I encourage the students always to just do the best you can. Don't worry about all the small things with it. Just jump in there and do them, and you will be rewarded. So guided instruction happens every day, and that takes place in many forms: whole class readings and discussions, group work, notes, literature circles, group presentations, and old-fashioned tests happen in just about, not all of these on the same day, of course, but it does happen on a regular basis. So these are the major works of literature we're going to be reading this year. So we begin the year very heavily in British literature with Christopher Marlowe, William Shakespeare, and Charles Dickens. And the students actually do like that old stuff quite a bit, as we really get them into some of the very interesting themes that are in that work. Second half of the year, our focus is more on non-British authors, is more of a world-lit focus. We read Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, who is an African writer from Nigeria. Night by Elie Wiesel is a memoir from a Holocaust survivor. And then our last book of the year is Persepolis, which is a graphic novel written by a woman who grew up in Iran during the Iranian Revolution. And it's a great work where students get to see how this major political and historical event changed this young woman's life. Next, I'm going to go over our classroom rules. Very simple, very straightforward. I ask the students just to put some effort in, show up on time, bring your materials, be responsible, be organized, ask questions when you don't understand things, and always participate in class, be open-minded, and ask before using headphones, earbuds, etc. And if you do all those things, we shouldn't have any major discipline problems. Grading policies. All grading is done on a point system, and the grade will be a fraction. Every grade is a fraction, so a quiz might be 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 that the students get. Points are accumulated throughout the quarter and then added together, and we use all 4 quarters and the final exam and add them up, and then there is a grade at the end of the year. All right. Tests usually are 25 to 50 points, presentations about the same, as well as projects. Quizzes are usually between 10 and 20 points. Homework assignments might be between 5 and 10. Quick write entries are little 2-point grades, as are their grammar assignments. Now, this year we're using Schoology, which we started last year, and so the students should be a little bit more familiar with it. All of our assignments are done through Schoology. Everything is posted there, and the students will submit their assignments there. One of the great advantages of this is that they get to keep a copy of their assignment, and I don't have to take their physical papers. I just get a copy of what they've done. So there shouldn't be any disputes about lost papers. And if for some reason there's a problem in transmission, but the student was working on it on their computers, we just look through their files and see what papers they have there. And if the student was working on it and the time that was appropriate, then I'll consider that to be turned in. But everything is turned in through Schoology. It's a pretty good system for keeping track of the student work. And I do try to get things back to them in a fairly timely manner. Small assignments usually within a day or two. Larger assignments might take more of a week or two when it comes to the essays. But do try to get things back to the students as soon as possible. So how, as parents, can you help? Right? Very simple. Look for assignments in Schoology. That's where things are going to be on a regular and consistent basis. Usually I have things up at the beginning of the week that cover the week ahead. All right. Encourage your students to read for pleasure. That's something we're going to be doing on a regular basis this upcoming year. And so talk to your kids about what book they've chosen. All right. And maybe read the same book with them, or read parts of whatever book they're reading so you can tune in with them on that. I think it's a great idea. And so we want to use that, and we will be modeling reading as an everyday activity, as we will be doing that just about every day in class. So extra help, students can come for extra help during Langley Links, other times by appointment if they need to come after school or before school. But the Langley Links third period is a great time for students to come for extra help. That's our class in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. My email is ggkrivak at fcps.edu. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and good luck with the rest of your video watching, and I'll be talking to people throughout the school year.